As evening arrives in Victorian London, the city begins to slow down. The sun lowers behind rows of brick buildings, and the last daylight fades quietly. There is no sudden change. The light simply softens, becoming pale and gentle until it is no longer needed. A cold winter air settles over the streets. It is calm and steady, not sharp or loud. The temperature drops slightly, encouraging people to finish their work and return home. The city responds naturally, without hurry. Fog begins to form as the evening cools. It does not rush in. It appears slowly, thin at first, then thicker as time passes. The fog moves gently along the streets, wrapping itself around buildings, doorways, and gas lamps. It softens the edges of everything it touches. London is familiar with fog. It is not unusual. It does not surprise anyone. People expect it, especially on winter evenings like this one. Cobblestone streets become quiet. Footsteps are fewer now. The sound of movement fades naturally. Shops begin to close their doors. Wooden shutters are pulled into place without noise. Windows reflect the last traces of daylight before darkness settles in. Gas lamps flicker to life one by one. Their warm yellow glow cuts softly through the fog. The light does not travel far. It remains close to the lamp, creating small pools of warmth in the cool air. Shadows stretch gently across the street and then fade. There is no rush in these moments. The evening unfolds at its own pace. London does not resist the night. It accepts it. Horse-drawn carriages pass slowly, their wheels dampened by the wet stones. The sound of hooves is soft and steady, never sharp. Each carriage moves carefully, then disappears into the fog. The city feels large, yet quiet. Buildings stand tall and still, their brick walls holding the warmth inside. The fog makes the streets feel enclosed, as if London has drawn a blanket around itself. People walk with purpose but without speed. They keep their coats close. Scarves are pulled higher. Hands are tucked away from the cold. No one lingers longer than needed. The air smells faintly of coal smoke from fireplaces beginning to burn. Chimneys release thin trails of smoke that rise slowly and disappear into the fog-filled sky. There is comfort in this routine. Victorian London knows this rhythm well. Evening comes, fog arrives, lights glow softly. The city rests. As darkness deepens, the sounds of the day continue to fade. The noise of carts and voices becomes distant. Silence does not arrive all at once. It spreads gently, filling the spaces left behind. Street corners become empty, doorways close. Curtains are drawn. The outside world feels quieter with every passing moment. Gas lamps continue their steady glow. They do not flicker wildly. Their light remains calm and constant. The fog moves slowly around them, creating a soft, dreamlike scene. The Thames flows quietly nearby. Its surface is barely visible through the fog. The river moves without sound, continuing its journey without drawing attention. Victorian London does not shine brightly at night. It dims itself. It softens. It becomes quiet. The city feels heavier now, slower. Time stretches. Minutes feel longer. There is no pressure to hurry. Inside the buildings, warmth begins to build. Fires are lit carefully. Coal burns low and steady. The goal is comfort, not brightness. Rooms glow gently, never harshly. Outside, the fog thickens slightly. The world beyond the next street becomes unclear. This makes the city feel smaller, safer, and contained. There is no excitement in the air, no anticipation, only the steady approach of night. London settles into itself. The streets belong to silence now. The gas lamps stand as quiet guardians, lighting the way for anyone still outside. But most people are indoors now. The city has moved inward. Doors are shut. Windows darken. The evening fog has done its work. It has softened the city, slowed its pace, and prepared it for rest. As the night continues, Victorian London becomes a place of stillness. Nothing asks for attention. Nothing demands action. The city breathes slowly, wrapped in fog, waiting peacefully for the long winter night to pass. As the fog settles more firmly over London, the city continues to slow down. The busy parts of the day are now far behind. Evening has taken control, gently and without resistance. Shopkeepers begin closing their businesses for the night. Wooden doors are pulled shut. Locks are turned with familiar movements. There is no rush to finish. Everything happens in the same order it always does. Inside the shops, lamps are dimmed. Shelves fade into shadow. The work of the day feels complete. Streets that were once active now feel wider and quieter. The sound of footsteps becomes rare. When someone does pass by, their movement feels soft and brief, like a thought that fades quickly. Carriages appear less often now. Those that remain move slowly, careful not to disturb the calm. Their wheels roll gently over damp stone, producing a steady and quiet sound. Vendors who once called out their goods are gone. Stalls are empty. Corners that once held conversation now hold only silence. London feels different at this hour. It is still the same city, but its energy has softened. The sharp edges of the day have faded. Gas lamps continue to glow steadily. Their light reflects faintly on the wet streets, stretching into long, gentle shapes. The fog keeps the light close, preventing it from traveling far. This makes each street feel separate and contained. One block feels distant from the next. The city becomes a collection of small, quiet spaces rather than one large place. People walking home keep their heads slightly lowered. Coats are pulled tight. Breath rises softly in the cold air. No one stops to speak for long. There is a shared understanding that the night has arrived. The city respects it. Windows in brick buildings begin to darken. Some show a soft glow from within. Others are already black, their curtains drawn tight. Families gather indoors. Doors close behind them. The outside world stays outside. Inside these homes, the air feels warmer and still. The sounds of the street no longer enter. Thick walls protect the quiet. London does not fight the night. It allows it to take over slowly. The pace of life changes completely now. There are no tasks waiting to be done. No schedules demanding attention. Time feels less important. The fog thickens slightly, pressing closer to the buildings. It moves slowly, almost without motion. It makes the city feel wrapped and protected. The streets belong to stillness now. Only the gas lamps remain awake, standing quietly in their places. Occasionally, a late traveler passes through the fog. Their figure appears briefly, then disappears again. The city closes around them, returning to silence. Church towers rise above the rooftops, their outlines softened by the fog. They do not call attention to themselves. They simply stand and wait. There is no music drifting through the streets. No laughter, no shouting, only the quiet hum of the city resting. Victorian London understands these hours well. This is not an unusual moment. It is part of the daily rhythm. The night does not feel empty. It feels settled. As more doors close and more lights dim, the city becomes heavier with rest. The energy of the day has fully dissolved. The fog continues to hold everything gently in place. It does not move quickly. It does not change. London feels smaller now. Streets feel shorter. Distances feel closer. The outside world fades away. What remains is calm. Inside homes, fires burn low. People move less. Voices soften or stop altogether. the city prepares for a long winter night without effort. Nothing feels forced. Everything happens as it always has. The streets are no longer meant for travel. They are meant for stillness. The lamps glow, the fog rests, the buildings stand quietly. London has closed its doors for the night. And in this calm, steady quiet, the city continues its slow journey into sleep. As the city settles further into the night, gas lamps become the main source of light across Victorian London. One by one, they glow softly through the fog, lining the streets with a steady and gentle warmth. The light from these lamps is never bright. It does not reach far. Instead, it stays close, forming small circles of comfort in the cold air. Beyond each lamp, the street fades back into shadow. The fog moves slowly around the lamps. It softens their glow and blurs their edges. Nothing looks sharp. Nothing feels harsh. The city appears calm and distant, even to itself. Cobblestone streets shine faintly with moisture. The stones reflect the lamplight in quiet patterns. There is no movement to disturb them. The streets are nearly empty now. From time to time, a lone figure passes by. Their footsteps are slow and careful. The sound is muted by the fog and damp ground. Within moments, the figure disappears again, absorbed by the quiet. Horse-drawn carriages are rare at this hour. When one does pass, it moves gently. The horses walk calmly, their breath rising softly into the night air. The sound of hooves is steady and low, never sudden. Most streets feel untouched. They belong to the night now. Rows of brick houses stand quietly on either side. Their windows are dark or faintly lit. Heavy curtains block the view inside, keeping warmth and privacy close. Behind these walls, families rest. The outside world no longer matters. The gas lamps remain steady. They do not flicker wildly. Their light is reliable, calm, and constant. They guide anyone still outside without asking attention. London feels larger in silence. Without the noise of the day, space opens up. Streets feel longer. Corners feel deeper. Yet at the same time, the fog makes everything feel contained. Visibility is limited. The city wraps inward. The soundscape of London has changed completely. Where there were once voices, wheels, and movement, there is now almost nothing. Occasionally, a distant sound travels through the fog. A door closing, a carriage far away, a faint echo that fades before it reaches anything. These sounds do not interrupt rest. They confirm it. The night air is cold but calm. It rests evenly across the city. There is no wind to stir it. The fog remains still, settled in place. Gas lamps reflect softly in puddles left by the day. The reflections shimmer slightly, then remain still. Nothing disturbs them. The streets are not empty in a lonely way. They are empty in a resting way, as if the city itself has chosen to pause. Victorian London understands this hour. It has passed through it countless times before. People do not stay out late unless necessary. Night is not meant for wandering. It is meant for rest. The lamps continue their quiet duty. They stand evenly spaced, marking the paths without demanding attention. Buildings rise above the streets, tall and quiet. Their brick faces are softened by shadow and fog. Edges blur, shapes simplify. The city loses detail as the night deepens. Only what is needed remains visible. There is no urgency anywhere, no sound calling out, no light flashing. London feels balanced, still, complete. The fog gently presses against doors and windows. It does not try to enter. It simply rests there. Inside homes, people move less. Some are already asleep. Others are preparing for it. Outside, the streets remain unchanged. The lamps glow. The fog holds steady. The city breathes slowly. Gas lamps do not hurry the night along. They do not signal activity. They simply exist, providing just enough light for calm passage. This soft lighting encourages the body to slow down. Eyes relax, thoughts settle. The streets feel safe and familiar. Nothing unexpected waits around the corner. Even the largest roads feel quiet now. The night has taken control everywhere. The fog hides distance and detail. It makes the city feel smaller and closer, even as it stretches outward. The lamps mark time without sound. They will remain until morning, steady and unchanged. Victorian London does not glow brightly at night. It dims itself intentionally. This quiet darkness allows rest to take hold. As the hours pass, nothing changes. The lamps remain lit. The streets remain still. The fog remains gentle. The city has fully entered its quiet state. Gas lamps and empty streets work together, creating a night that asks for nothing and offers rest. And within this calm, London continues sleeping, wrapped in fog and soft light, undisturbed. As the night deepens, Victorian London slowly turns inward. The streets outside grow quieter, but behind the brick walls of the city, homes begin to take on their own gentle rhythm of rest. Rows of brick houses stand close together, forming long, steady lines along the streets. Their walls are thick and solid, built to keep warmth inside during the cold winter months. These walls also keep sound away. Once a door is closed, the noise of the street fades almost completely. Windows are small and carefully placed. Many are already dark. Others glow faintly with the soft light of a lamp or a low-burning fire inside. Curtains are drawn slowly, one by one, until the windows no longer show what lies beyond. Heavy curtains are common in Victorian homes. Made of thick fabric, they serve a simple purpose. They keep the cold out. They block unwanted light. They create a feeling of privacy and enclosure. When the curtains close, the outside world feels distant and unimportant. Inside these homes, the air feels warmer and still. Coal fires burn gently in fireplaces, not bright or loud, but steady and reliable. The warmth spreads slowly through the room, settling into the furniture and the floor. The rooms are modest and orderly. Furniture is placed carefully, a table near the fire, a few chairs, shelves holding books or simple household items. Nothing is excessive, nothing demands attention. People move quietly now. There is no reason to hurry. The work of the day has ended. Shoes are removed. Coats are hung near the door. Scarves are folded and set aside. Voices are low. Conversations are short and familiar. Often, silence fills the room without effort. No one feels the need to speak simply to fill the space. Victorian homes are designed for evenings like this. They are places of routine and comfort. Everything has its place. Everything feels expected. The floors creak softly under careful steps, then grow still again. Doors close gently. The sound does not travel far. Light inside the rooms is dim. Lamps are turned low. Candles are used only when needed. Bright light is unnecessary. Darkness feels natural and calm. Shadows settle along the walls. They do not move quickly. They remain soft and familiar. Families gather close together. Some sit near the fire. Others rest quietly in their chairs. Children grow tired easily in the warmth and calm. Their movements slow without anyone noticing. The outside fog presses gently against the windows, but it cannot enter. The home feels protected, safe, contained. Brick walls and closed curtains create a clear boundary. Inside is warmth and quiet. Outside is cold and distance. The division feels comforting. Victorian London is a busy city during the day, but at night, its homes become still places of rest. The energy of the streets does not follow people inside. Time feels different indoors. Minutes stretch. There is no clock being watched closely. The evening unfolds without direction. Some people read quietly by the fire. Others simply sit and rest. There is no need for entertainment. The calm itself is enough. As the night moves forward, lamps are dimmed further. Candles are blown out. Darkness spreads gently across the room. The fire continues to glow softly. Its sound is faint and steady. It does not demand attention. Windows show nothing now. Curtains block all view. The outside world has disappeared completely. Victorian homes feel smaller and quieter at this hour. Rooms feel closer. Sounds feel softer. The body responds to this environment naturally. Breathing slows, muscles relax, the mind grows quiet. There is no rush toward sleep. Sleep simply becomes the next step. The warmth of the room encourages rest. The quiet allows thoughts to settle without effort. Nothing interrupts the calm. No loud noises. No sudden movements. The brick homes of London hold the night inside them. They protect rest. They support stillness. As more lamps are turned down and more rooms fall into darkness, the city behind closed curtains becomes a place of deep calm. The night continues its slow progress. Inside these quiet homes, people prepare to sleep, guided by routine and comfort rather than urgency. Brick walls stand firm, curtains stay closed, fires burn low. Victorian London rests, one quiet home at a time. As the evening continues, fireplaces across Victorian London begin to change. Earlier in the night, fires were tended carefully, given just enough coal to warm the room. Now they are allowed to settle. The flames grow smaller. Bright light fades. What remains are glowing embers, steady and quiet. Coal fires are common in Victorian homes. They are practical and familiar. People know how to manage them without thinking. A fire is never meant to roar at night. It is meant to rest. As the fire settles, the room grows dimmer. Shadows deepen along the walls. The glow from the hearth becomes soft and comforting rather than bright. The sound of the fire changes as well. Crackling becomes rare. Now and then, a quiet shift of embers can be heard. Then silence returns. This gentle sound does not interrupt rest. It supports it. Families do not gather close to the fire anymore. The warmth has already filled the room. People spread out slightly, finding comfortable places to sit or rest. Chairs are pulled closer to walls. Some people lean back, eyes half closed. Others sit quietly. Hands resting in their laps. No one feels the need to move. The air inside the room feels steady. Warmth is even and calm. There are no sudden changes in temperature. Coal smoke stays contained within the fireplace. Chimneys guide it upward and away. Inside, the air remains still. Fireplaces in Victorian homes are designed to hold heat. Brick and stone absorb warmth during the evening and release it slowly through the night. This makes rooms feel safe and comfortable even as the fire fades. The glow from the embers creates a soft orange light. It touches the edges of furniture, the floor, and nearby walls. The rest of the room remains in shadow. This balance of light and dark encourages rest. Eyes do not strain. The mind does not focus sharply on anything. Time passes gently. People stop speaking altogether now. Words are no longer needed. Silence feels natural and complete. Some people stretch slightly before settling again. Movements are slow and careful. Nothing disturbs the quiet. Children grow heavy with sleep. They lean against parents or rest nearby. Their breathing slows first, steady and deep. Adults follow soon after. Shoulders relax. Posture softens. The body understands that the day has ended. The fireplace continues to glow faintly. It does not need attention. No one stirs the coals. No one adds fuel. This is intentional. Fires are allowed to rest just like people. Outside, the fog remains thick. The cold air presses against the windows, but it does not enter. Inside, warmth holds steady. The contrast between outside and inside grows stronger. Beyond the walls, London is dark and distant. Within the home, everything feels enclosed and calm. The fire has become part of the background. It no longer draws the eye. It simply exists. This is how Victorian evenings often end. Not with sudden quiet, but with a slow settling. Rooms grow darker as lamps are turned down or extinguished. Candlelight disappears entirely. Only the hearth provides a gentle glow. Shadows stop moving. They settle into place. The body responds to this stillness without effort. Breathing slows naturally. Muscles release tension built during the day. There is no pressure to sleep immediately, but sleep is clearly approaching. The fireplace gives a final soft glow, then becomes almost still. Embers hold their heat quietly. Victorian families trust this process. They have experienced it countless times. There is no need to watch the fire closely. It will fade safely on its own. The room feels complete. Nothing is missing. Nothing needs to be done. As the night deepens, fireplaces across the city mirror one another. Each one settles into embers. Each one supports rest. London becomes a city of low glowing hearths, hidden behind brick walls and closed curtains. The fires do not light the city. They warm it quietly from within. And as these embers continue to glow softly, Victorian London moves one step closer to deep, undisturbed sleep. As the warmth from the fireplace settles into the room, the evening meal in Victorian homes quietly comes to an end. Supper is not a large or dramatic event. It is simple, familiar, and calm. Meals at this hour are meant to comfort, not to excite. The food is warm and filling. Portions are modest. Everything is prepared with routine in mind. Families sit together at small tables or near the fire. Plates are plain. Utensils are simple. There is no decoration meant to draw attention. The act of eating is slow. No one rushes. Each bite is taken without thought. The body responds gently to the warmth of the food. Conversation, if it happens at all, is quiet and brief. Words are exchanged only when needed. Silence fills the space easily and naturally. The sounds of supper are soft. The quiet movement of a spoon, a cup being set down carefully. Nothing clatters, nothing echoes. In Victorian London, the evening meal is part of winding down. It signals that the active part of the day has passed. Children eat slowly, growing tired in the warmth of the room. Their movements become less frequent. Their attention drifts without effort. Adults notice this change without comment. There is no need to hurry anyone. The night will take its course. When the meal is finished, plates are cleared quietly. Dishes are stacked gently. Water is poured slowly to clean them. Everything is done with care. No one lingers at the table. There is no reason to remain seated. The purpose of the meal has been fulfilled. The room returns to stillness. The fire continues to glow softly. The warmth remains even. The air feels heavy in a comfortable way. Outside, the fog presses against the windows. Inside, the world feels closed and calm. Victorian homes do not treat supper as entertainment. It is a practical part of the evening routine. Once it is finished, attention shifts naturally toward rest. The body responds quickly to this rhythm. Warm food combined with warmth from the fire creates a feeling of heaviness. Muscles relax, breathing slows. Some people lean back in their chairs. Others move closer to the fire without speaking. The night guides them gently. The absence of noise becomes noticeable. Without the sounds of eating or conversation, the room feels quieter than before. This quiet is not empty. It feels full and complete. The routine of supper does not change much from day to day. This familiarity brings comfort. Nothing unexpected happens. Victorian families find peace in repetition. Knowing what comes next removes the need for thought. After dishes are set aside, hands are wiped clean. Movements are slow and deliberate. No one rushes. The fire remains the only source of light. Lamps are dimmed further. Shadows deepen along the walls. The room grows darker, but not uncomfortable. Darkness feels natural and welcome. The body recognizes these signals clearly. Food is finished. Work is finished. The night is well underway. There is no entertainment planned for after supper. No games. No activities. The evening simply continues toward rest. Some people sit quietly for a short while. Others begin preparing for sleep. Both feel natural. The air remains warm and still. The smell of food fades, replaced by the faint scent of coal and fabric. Outside, the city remains silent. Inside, nothing interrupts the calm. Victorian London moves through this moment together. In countless homes across the city, supper ends in the same quiet way. The routine repeats itself night after night, especially in winter. This repetition teaches the body when to rest. There is no need for effort. As the evening deepens, the memory of the meal fades quickly. It has served its purpose. What remains is warmth, quiet, and the steady presence of the night. The city continues to slow, one home at a time, guided by simple routines and gentle habits. And as the last signs of supper disappear, Victorian London moves calmly towards sleep, supported by stillness and familiarity. After supper, Victorian homes begin another quiet ritual. It is a small moment, often unnoticed, but deeply familiar. Heavy winter coats are removed and hung by the door. These coats have served their purpose for the day. They protected against cold streets, damp fog, and long walks through the city. Now they are no longer needed. Wool coats are thick and weighty. When they are taken off, the body feels lighter. The warmth of the home replaces the cold carried in from outside. Scarves are unwrapped slowly. Gloves are placed carefully nearby. Hats are set down without sound. Everything is done in the same order each evening. There is no rush to complete this task. It is not something that needs attention. It happens naturally, guided by habit. Hooks by the door hold coats neatly. Fabric settles into place. The quiet movement produces a soft sound, then stops. Once coats are removed, the outside world feels even farther away. The cold no longer touches the skin. The fog remains beyond the walls. Victorian homes are designed to separate inside from outside clearly. The door closes firmly. The latch settles. The boundary is complete. Inside, the air feels warmer and calmer. The body adjusts quickly. Muscles relax as layers are removed. This small change signals something important. The day is finished. There is no need to leave again. People move further into the home now. The doorway is left behind. Attention shifts inward. Shoes are placed neatly near the wall. Boots dry slowly by the fire. Their presence is quiet and unobtrusive. No one speaks much during this time. Words are unnecessary. The actions themselves are enough. Children feel the difference immediately. Without coats, without the weight of outdoor clothing, their movements slow. Sleep feels closer. Adults experience the same change. Shoulders drop slightly. Breathing becomes easier. This routine repeats every winter evening. It does not change with the seasons or the years. It remains steady and reliable. the sound of the city outside does not enter. Doors remain closed, curtains stay drawn. The home feels sealed and complete. Victorian London is busy during the day, but at night it turns inward. Homes become places of quiet transition. Removing coats is part of this transition. It marks the movement from activity to rest. The body recognizes this signal. Without thought, it begins to slow. Hands rest more often. Movements become fewer. The fire continues to glow softly. Warmth fills the room evenly. Coats remain still by the door. They will not be needed again until morning. The fog outside thickens slightly, but it does not matter. The night belongs to the indoors now. This sense of enclosure is comforting. The outside world feels distant and unimportant. People settle into chairs or sit quietly near the fire. There is no plan for what comes next. The night will decide. The act of removing coats does not feel like preparation. It feels like release. The body lets go of the tension carried through the day. The mind follows. Victorian evenings rely on these small habits. They guide the body gently toward rest without instruction. There is no entertainment waiting, no tasks left undone. The routine has been completed. The home feels still and balanced. Time stretches gently. The minutes do not feel measured. There is no clock being watched. The weight of winter clothing is gone. Warmth surrounds the body evenly. This makes it easier to remain still, to sit quietly, to rest. As the night continues, even these small movements fade. People move less and less. The doorway remains silent. Coats hang undisturbed. Shoes remain where they were placed. Nothing calls attention back to the outside. Victorian London has fully separated itself from the day. Inside these homes, the night feels complete. Everything that needed to happen has happened. The ritual of returning home is finished. Now, the long, quiet hours can begin. As the night grows deeper, the last movements of the city slowly disappear. One of the final sounds to fade is the steady rhythm of horse hooves on stone streets. Earlier in the evening, horses still moved through London, pulling carriages and carts at a careful pace. Now they are fewer and farther between. Each passing carriage feels quieter than the one before it. The sound of hooves is soft and familiar. It does not echo sharply. It blends gently with the fog and damp air. When a horse passes, the sound rises slowly, then fades just as slowly. Eventually, even this sound becomes rare. Victorian London relies heavily on horses for travel. During the day, streets are filled with their movement. At night, that movement fades naturally, guided by routine rather than rule. Drivers know when it is time to stop. Horses are guided back to stables. Reins are loosened. The day's work comes to an end. The last carriage of the night moves carefully through the fog. Wheels roll quietly. Hooves strike the ground at an even, unhurried pace. Then the sound fades completely. The street returns to silence. This moment often passes unnoticed. There is no announcement, no clear signal. The city simply becomes still. Without horses, the streets feel wider and emptier. Nothing moves through them now. The fog settles in place without disturbance. Gas lamps continue to glow softly, but there is no motion beneath them. Their light reflects on wet stones, unchanged. The absence of sound is noticeable, but not uncomfortable. It feels expected. Victorian London understands this transition well. The night is not meant for travel. It is meant for rest. Stables across the city are quiet now. Horses stand calmly, steam rising faintly from their bodies as they cool. Straw bedding absorbs sound. Doors close gently. Inside the city, People do not think about these details. They simply feel the calm that follows. The streets no longer carry movement from one place to another. They exist only as empty paths, waiting for morning. The fog grows thicker without being stirred. It settles along the ground and around lamp posts. The city feels wrapped and still. Without the sound of hooves, the night feels deeper. Silence becomes complete. This silence allows the body to relax more fully. Without background movement, the mind has nothing to follow. Inside homes, people notice the quiet without numbing it. Breathing slows, muscles soften. The absence of street noise confirms that the night has fully arrived. Time feels less important now. There is no schedule to follow, no destination waiting. The city has let go of motion. Occasionally, a distant sound reaches the edge of awareness. Perhaps a stable door closing far away. Perhaps a muffled step. These sounds fade quickly. Nothing lingers. Victorian London rests in layers of quiet. Streets, buildings, and homes all share the same stillness. The gas lamps remain lit, but they illuminate nothing in motion. They stand over empty streets. The fog holds its shape. The air remains cold but calm. This moment of complete stillness is familiar. It happens every night, especially in winter. The city does not resist it. It welcomes it. Inside homes, people feel safe knowing the outside world has settled. There is no need to remain alert. Children sleep deeply now. Adults follow soon after. The streets remain unchanged. Nothing new enters the scene. The night stretches on, smooth and uninterrupted. Horse hooves do not return. Carriages do not pass. The city stays quiet. Victorian London has reached one of its calmest points. The movement of the day has fully faded. What remains is rest. The fog, the lamps, the empty streets all hold their places. They do not change. The night belongs entirely to stillness now. And in this calm, silent city, sleep deepens easily, guided by the absence of motion and sound. As the night settles fully over Victorian London, the last quiet conversations inside homes begin to fade. Earlier, a few soft words were exchanged. Now, even those become unnecessary. Voices lower naturally. Sentences grow shorter. Then, without notice, talking stops. There is no clear moment when silence begins. It simply arrives, filling the room gently. No one feels the need to speak. Everything that needed to be said has already been said. Families sit together in the dim light. Some rest near the fire. Others sit back in their chairs. The sound of breathing becomes more noticeable than any voice. Silence does not feel awkward. It feels expected. It feels comfortable. Victorian evenings often end this way. After the routines of supper and settling in, words lose their importance. Presence becomes enough. People do not search for topics to discuss. There is no habit of filling the quiet. Silence is accepted as part of the night. The fire gives a faint glow. Shadows remain still along the walls. Nothing moves quickly. If someone shifts slightly in their chair, the movement is slow and careful. The sound fades quickly, leaving the room quiet again. Children are usually the first to stop speaking. Their energy fades early in the warmth and calm. They rest quietly, sometimes leaning against a parent, sometimes sitting still with eyes half closed. Adults notice this without comment. There is no instruction to be quiet. The night guides everyone equally. Outside, the city remains silent. No sound reaches in through the walls. Curtains block the view. The outside world feels distant and unimportant. Inside, time stretches. Minutes pass without being counted. There is no clock being checked. The night moves at its own pace. Occasionally, someone exhales deeply. The sound is soft and steady. It blends into the stillness. In Victorian homes, quiet evenings are not unusual. They are part of the rhythm of life, especially in winter. The mind responds quickly to this environment. Without conversation to follow, thoughts slow. Attention drifts gently. There is no pressure to remain awake. No effort is made to stay alert. Silence encourages rest. The fire continues to settle. Embers glow faintly. The room remains warm enough. Some people close their eyes for a moment, then open them again. Others do not bother to open them at all. No one announces that it is time to sleep. Sleep simply becomes the next step. The absence of conversation makes the room feel smaller and safer. Sounds do not travel far. Everything feels contained. The air is still. There is no draft. The temperature remains steady. Victorian families trust this quiet. They have experienced it countless times. It does not signal boredom. It signals rest. The body relaxes more fully now. Shoulders drop. Hands rest loosely. Muscles soften. There is no reason to move. Even small habits, like adjusting a sleeve or shifting a foot, become less frequent. Stillness grows. The quiet is complete but gentle. It does not press down. It simply surrounds. The night does not demand attention. It offers permission to stop thinking. In this silence, the mind does not wander far. There is nothing pulling it outward. The outside city remains unseen and unheard. Inside, the home feels like its own small world. This is the hour when many people drift into sleep without noticing. There is no sharp transition. Wakefulness fades smoothly. Breathing slows. The rhythm becomes steady and calm. The quiet continues without interruption. No one speaks again. Victorian London experiences this moment together, across countless homes. Conversations end everywhere at once, without coordination. The city becomes a place of shared silence. The firelight dims further. Shadows grow deeper but remain soft. The room no longer invites activity. It invites rest. Silence holds the space gently, allowing sleep to approach naturally. There is no need to prepare further. Everything is already in place. The quiet remains. And within this quiet, sleep deepens easily, carried by stillness and familiarity. As the quiet inside Victorian homes deepens, lamps are slowly dimmed for the night. This happens without thought or discussion. It is part of the evening rhythm, as familiar as breathing. Gas lamps and oil lamps are not meant to burn brightly late into the night. Light is used only as long as it is needed. When the day has fully ended, the light is gently reduced. Hands turn small knobs carefully. Flames lower. The glow softens. Rooms grow darker, but not suddenly. Darkness arrives slowly, allowing the eyes to adjust without effort. Shadows spread gently across the walls and floor. There is no fear in this darkness. It is expected and familiar. Victorian homes are built to feel safe at night, even in low light. The remaining glow from fireplaces provides enough warmth and visibility. It is not bright enough to encourage activity. It simply supports rest. People do not move much now. With less light, there is less reason to do anything at all. Sitting still feels natural. The mind responds immediately. With fewer details to focus on, thoughts begin to slow. Attention drifts inward. Outside, gas lamps continue to glow along the streets, but their light does not reach inside the homes. Curtains block it completely. The outside world remains distant. Inside, the air feels heavy in a comforting way. Warmth settles evenly. Nothing changes quickly. Victorian families understand this moment well. Dimming the lamps signals the end of the waking day. It does not require words. Children respond first. Their eyes grow heavy. Movements become slower. They rest quietly, no longer alert. Adults feel the same pull toward stillness. Shoulders relax. Posture softens. Breathing deepens. The dim light encourages calm without effort. There is nothing sharp or bright to hold attention. Furniture fades into shadow. The room becomes simpler, quieter. Only shapes remain. This lack of detail makes the space feel smaller and more contained. It feels easier to rest. The soundscape remains unchanged. Silence continues to fill the room gently. Occasionally, a lamp makes a faint sound as it is adjusted. Then stillness returns. No one turns a lamp off abruptly. Everything is done slowly and carefully. Sudden changes are avoided. The remaining light feels warm and steady. It does not flicker or move quickly. As lamps are dimmed further, the room becomes a place meant only for rest. There is no invitation to stay awake. The body responds to this signal clearly. Heart rate slows. Muscles release tension. The mind no longer tries to follow time. Minutes pass unnoticed. In Victorian London, night lighting is practical, not decorative. There is no desire to keep rooms bright after dark. This approach supports rest naturally. Darkness is not resisted. It is welcomed. The firelight remains the final source of glow. It casts soft, unmoving shadows that do not distract. Eyes grow tired without strain. Blinking slows. Lids feel heavy. No one looks for entertainment. There is nothing left to do. The dimmed lamps have completed their task. They have guided the home from activity into stillness. Outside, the city remains silent. Inside, the home mirrors that silence. Curtains remain closed. Doors remain shut. The boundary between inside and outside stays firm. The night has fully taken hold. The room feels balanced. Warmth, darkness, and quiet exist together without conflict. There is no need to prepare further. Sleep is already close. As the lamps reach their lowest glow, the home becomes a place of deep calm. Nothing interrupts it. Victorian London rests behind dimmed lights and closed curtains, one home at a time. The night continues smoothly, uninterrupted, guiding everyone gently towards sleep. As lamps are dimmed and the last light fades, Victorian homes grow even quieter. Attention slowly shifts toward the bedrooms. There is no rush to reach them. People move calmly, guided by habit and comfort. Bedrooms in Victorian London are simple and practical. They are not designed for activity. They are meant for rest. Heavy wooden doors open quietly and then close again. The sound is soft and brief. Once shut, the rest of the home feels distant. The air inside the bedroom is cool at first, but not cold. Thick walls and heavy curtains keep the worst of the winter air outside. Warmth from the rest of the house settles in gently. Beds are sturdy and familiar. Mattresses are firm, often filled with horsehair or straw. They do not sink deeply. They support the body evenly. Sheets are plain and clean. Blankets are thick and heavy. Wool holds warmth well and rests with weight, helping the body feel grounded. Clothing for sleep is simple. There is no special attire meant to impress. Comfort matters more than appearance. Layers are adjusted quietly, without thought. Movements slow further in the space. There is no reason to hurry. Everything feels prepared. Fireplaces in bedrooms, if present, are kept very low or left to fade completely. Heat from the rest of the house is enough. Quiet is more important than warmth now. Curtains are already drawn tight. No light enters from outside. The room feels enclosed and protected. Gas lamps or candles are either extinguished or lowered to the faintest glow. Darkness fills the space without effort. The bedroom does not invite conversation. Words are unnecessary here. Silence feels natural. The body responds quickly. Muscles relax further. Breathing slows. People sit on the edge of the bed for a moment before lying down. This pause is brief and calm. There is no reflection or planning. Shoes are set aside carefully. Clothing is placed neatly nearby. Nothing is left out of place. Once lying down, the body settles slowly. Blankets are pulled into place. The weight feels comforting. There is no effort to find a perfect position. The body chooses what feels right and then becomes still. Children fall asleep easily in these rooms. Adults follow soon after. The night supports everyone equally. The quiet inside the bedroom feels deeper than in the rest of the house. Sounds do not travel far here. Even breathing feels softer. The outside world is completely absent. Fog, streets, and lamps no longer matter. Time loses its shape. Minutes and hours are no longer tracked. Victorian bedrooms are not filled with objects meant to distract. There is little to focus on. This simplicity supports rest. The darkness is complete but gentle. It does not feel heavy or pressing. Occasionally, a faint sound reaches the room. A distant creak of wood, a soft, settling noise. These sounds fade quickly and do not disturb. The body remains relaxed. There is no tension to release. Thoughts slow naturally. They do not rush or repeat. They fade quietly. Sleep approaches without being invited. The bed holds warmth evenly. The blankets remain still. The room stays calm. Breathing becomes steady and deep. The rhythm is slow and comfortable. Victorian London experiences this moment across countless bedrooms at the same time. A city of quiet rooms, all wrapped in stillness. The night does not interrupt this rest. It supports it. Nothing changes suddenly. Everything remains steady. The bedroom becomes a place outside of time. Only rest exists here. As sleep deepens, awareness fades gently. The body remains supported. The mind remains quiet. The stillness holds. Victorian bedrooms remain calm through the long winter night, protecting rest until morning arrives naturally. As the night reaches its quiet center, the fog outside grows deeper. It settles over Victorian London without movement or sound. Streets, buildings, and bridges are gently hidden from one another. Distance disappears. The fog is thick but calm. It does not rush through the streets. It rests there unchanged, holding the city still. Gas lamps continue to glow, but their light travels only a short distance. Each lamp stands alone, surrounded by a small circle of warmth, while everything beyond fades into gray. The city feels smaller now. Streets that once stretched far ahead seem to end just a few steps away. Corners vanish softly into the fog. This loss of distance brings a quiet comfort. There is nothing far away to think about. Everything exists close by, contained and still. The fog absorbs sound. Any noise that might have traveled across the streets is softened and slowed until it disappears completely. Inside homes, people do not hear the city at all. Brick walls and heavy curtains block the outside world. The fog presses gently against windows, but it cannot enter. The cold air outside remains separate from the warmth inside. This separation feels clear and complete. Victorian London is familiar with nights like this. The fog is not unusual. It arrives often in winter and is expected. There is no need to watch it. No reason to think about it. It simply exists. The Thames flows quietly beneath the fog. Its surface is hidden. The water moves without sound or reflection. Bridges stand still above the river. Their shapes are softened until they feel distant and unreal. The fog connects everything by hiding it. Streets blend into one another. Buildings lose their edges. the city becomes one calm shape. This stillness encourages rest. With fewer details to notice, the mind slows further. Inside bedrooms, people sleep without disturbance. Breathing remains steady. Bodies remain warm and relaxed. The fog outside does not change the night inside. It only deepens the sense of quiet. Occasionally, a gas lamp hisses softly as it burns. The sound is faint and brief. It fades into the fog almost immediately. No footsteps echo. No carriage passes. The city remains motionless. The fog holds the streets gently, like a blanket laid across the ground. Victorian nights often feel long in winter, but this length does not feel heavy. It feels generous. There is no pressure to wake early, no expectation of activity before morning. The fog reinforces this pause. It makes movement feel unnecessary. Time continues to pass, but it does not announce itself. There are no signals to follow. Inside the homes, sleep deepens. Blankets remain still. No one stirs. The warmth from fireplaces earlier in the evening has settled into walls and floors. Rooms remain comfortable without effort. Outside, the city remains hidden. The fog shows no sign of lifting. This unchanging scene creates a sense of safety. Nothing new appears. Nothing unexpected happens. Victorian London rests completely in this moment. The fog softens even the idea of the city. It removes sharpness. It removes urgency. Only stillness remains. The body responds naturally. Muscles stay relaxed. Breathing stays slow and even. Sleep holds firm. The fog does not need to clear. Morning is still far away. The night belongs to rest. Streets, bridges, and buildings remain exactly as they are, unseen but present. The city continues to breathe quietly beneath the fog, unchanged and undisturbed. This deep fog marks one of the calmest hours of the night. Everything has settled fully. And within this gentle, hidden city, sleep remains deep and steady, supported by silence and stillness.